Recording in progress.
Okay, wonderful. Good evening. This is the November full board meeting for Manhattan Community Board 2. I'm the chair, Valerie Della Rosa, and I'm going to call this meeting to order. We just now have quorum, 6:47 p.m. I guess that won't be on the recording. And with that, we are going to start with our public session. Since our first vice chair is not arrived yet, I will run the public session. So first we have, yes? Oh, we'll do roll call, then we'll go to the public session. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn it over to our secretary, Emma. I was just so excited about getting to the public session.
Thank you so much, Valerie. Thanks, everyone. Good evening. We'll begin. Susanna Aaron is absent with notification. Will Banesh. Keen Berger. Carter Booth. Katie Bordenaro. Anita Brandt. Amy Brenna. Rich Cacapolo. Ritu Chatri is absent with notification. Nina Chen.
Online.
Valerie De La Rosa. Nina, I'm sorry, are you online? Okay, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
Valerie De La Rosa. Thank you, ma'am. Chris Dignas. Thanks, Chris.
Can't hear them.
Arturo Fernandez. Mar Fitzgerald. Stella Fitzgerald is absent with notification. Cormac Flynn is absent with notification. Susan Gammy. David Gruber. Thanks, David. I got you. JJ Herrera is absent with notification. DJ Jane is absent with notification. Juliet Kay. Zachary Kazaz. Susan Kent.
Here?
Thanks, Susan. Ryder Kessler. Janine Kiley. Patricia Laria. Janet Liff. Benjamin Listman. Ed Ma. I don't see Ed yet. I'll keep an eye out. Paul McDade. Erica Olson is absent with notification. Brian Pape. Matthew Pereira. Donna Raftery. Lois Rakoff. Bo Riccobono. Sean Ryan is absent with notification. Rocio Sands. Shirley Secunda. Edward Siegel will be joining later. Frederica Siegel.
Here.
Thanks, Frederica. Emma Smith, present. Dr. Shirley Smith. Chenault Spence.
Here.
Thanks, Chenault. Sean Sweeney. Monica Weiss. Not on yet. Thanks, Mark. Susan Wittenberg. Anthony Wong. And Eugene Yu. Not here yet. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much to our secretary, Emma. Now we are going to move to the public session. So I will run the public session as our first vice chair is not here yet. So Michael Hack. So you'll have 2 minutes to speak. And yeah, go ahead and please introduce yourself.
Just talking very quickly about the restaurant Babo and an incident that happened there recently, and I'm particularly concerned about.
Okay, while we fix that, I'm so sorry. Is that
It wasn't on.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I will quickly repeat what I just said. My apologies to those who will have to hear it twice. My name is Mike. I'm with Unite Here, Hotels, Restaurants, Casinos. It's a union. And I'm talking about the restaurant Babo. I was out in front of that restaurant with a very large inflatable rat about 3 or 4 weeks ago. That's because the restaurant owner, Steven Starr, has been involved in some pretty bad union busting in DC, firing people on our union committee and things like that. But I'm particularly concerned about the public interest with this restaurant. while I was standing out there with a giant rat on the opening night, somebody came out of the restaurant, and I heard a psst noise, and I turned around, and they had a knife, and they had slashed the rat. And the person was dressed much like someone who works at the restaurant. I can't verify that, but I then called NYPD, and we went into the restaurant together looking for the man who had stabbed the rat. That man might have exited out the back, I'm not sure. But we came back outside, and the police asked the restaurant for the video of the incident, and the restaurant refused to share the video, which, again, I think is not in the public interest. I know they already approved for a temporary liquor license, but I'll be submitting a letter about this to put in the record for future things that the restaurant does to come in front of the board. I just think that kind of behavior, not cooperating with NYPD on a knife crime, sort of, yeah, killing a giant inflatable rat is not in the public interest. So thank you for listening to me. That's my time. Okay, great.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time. Yes, we do. Yes, do you have if we can get a microphone? Can you get Katie a microphone? Because we do have the Congressman Dan Goldman, who we're going to go to next.
Thank you. It's Michael, correct?
Yes.
Thank you for coming back. You presented at the SLA, and we suggested you come here. So it's you get a lot of points for following up. But after hearing your story the other night, I realized that you didn't know that the restaurant also has offices upstairs. So the person could have gone upstairs and not out the back. It's hard to go out the back there, and sort of, and it adds another level that no one told you that there was another place to look.
Thank you very much. I didn't know about that. That's good to know. Thank you.
Great. Anything else? Great. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, so now we're going to go to Congressman Dan Goldman, who is joining us on Zoom. Can we promote the congressman? Thank you. We will rejoin the public session in one moment after we hear from the congressman.
All right. Hi. Good to see everyone as best I can through Zoom. I am beaming in from my office in DC. We're back to work now, our first full week back after the shutdown ended. And I think the highlight of this week, for sure, has been the overwhelming passage of the bill to release the Epstein files. And I spent some time with the survivors on Tuesday night after the bill passed Tuesday in the House and then was quickly passed in the Senate. It has now been signed by the president. And it is really a testament to the survivors who did such incredibly brave work in coming forward and continuing to push for transparency, to continuing to press for this administration to stop their cover-up and to release the files. I think it is very clear. It was very clear back in May when I first wrote a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi after the DOJ had gone silent following a promise to release all the files, that something funny was going on with Donald Trump. And as the more and more we've gotten into it, it is pretty clear it's a cover-up. Now, still is not finished. The Department of Justice still has to release the files, and there are a number of exceptions in the law that they may be able to use. But we're going to continue to push for transparency because in this case, the survivors in particular are asking for it, and their wishes should be honored. We are now out of the shutdown, but certainly the impacts of the shutdown have not disappeared. A central focus of ours, as it was during the shutdown, is healthcare and the ACA tax credits that are going to expire at the end of this year. I personally was very, very upset that 8 senators decided to unilaterally make a choice for all Democratic elected officials and Democrats around the country that at that time was the time they wanted to cave. I think we were all really shaken up by the use of starvation as a political weapon by Donald Trump and his withholding of SNAP benefits. And certainly it poses, one of those Hobbesian choices and moral dilemmas that are you going to stand up to a mob boss, to someone trying to extort you, even if that means that people are really going to suffer and not going to eat? And I think if that were really the question that we were all facing, it would be a very difficult choice. But it's hard to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm going to continue, even though I can control whether someone eats or not, I'm going to continue to make sure they don't eat. But that was not the situation we were in, and that's why I was frustrated. SNAP had been turned back on. We had a lot of momentum coming out of the election. Even Donald Trump had recognized that they were losing the messaging war. And we had really fought hard to get to that point. And I truly believe if we had held on for another week or two, we would have been able to extract some meaningful change in one of the only ways that we can, which is when they need 60 votes in the Senate. But we are now back here. We are working hard to extend those tax credits so that millions of people don't lose their health care. Millions more are going to lose their health care because of the Medicaid cuts. And we are hitting them on this healthcare crisis that they've created every opportunity we have. It is frustrating that we haven't been able to actually stop them in any way. I hope we will be able to make some progress on the ACA tax credits before the end of the year. But there's no question it's having a political impact, as we saw in the election around the country and as we see in poll numbers. And then the other thing I'll mention that I know everybody is very conscious of in New York City, and that I'm really trying to be at the forefront and leading the fight against, is this immigration dragnet that Donald Trump is inflicting on the entire country and certainly right in New York City in our district and in CB2 at 201 Varick, down at 290 26 Federal Plaza, and my district office at 290 Broadway. Canal Street obviously saw that raid, and it's shocking to see what they're doing with civil immigration enforcement, with these masked agents, militarized armored vehicles doing these totally unnecessary violent raids, using excessive force, holding people in detention in terrible conditions for weeks and weeks, deporting people who are lawfully trying to immigrate. The list goes on and on and on, and it has become the central focus of my office. Our office at 290 Broadway, and I'd love for you all to spread this word, is now we're using as a refuge for any families who've had, any families at all, but certainly ones who've had family members arrested and detained at 26 Federal Plaza. We're right across the way. We have some tools that we can use to help them and track them. We're trying to connect them with lawyers, with other services and resources. So we're really trying to spread the word that our office down in 290 Broadway is a hub for the sort of immediate after action crisis response work that needs to be done. As you may know, I introduced the No Secret Police Act, which now has well over 100 co-sponsors, that would require ICE officers to take off their masks and to show identification. I certainly didn't think in the United States of America we would need a bill that would require that, but under this authoritarian regime we do. I'm one of 12 members who's filed a lawsuit against ICE. I found a section in the statute that gives individual members of Congress a standing to sue, because ordinarily Congress is treated as one entity, and given that the Republicans control, we have no ability to file lawsuits using the entity of Congress. So, but this was a way we found to actually challenge their detention and their refusal to let us do oversight. We are hoping to get an opinion any day now that would allow me to go into 26 Federal Plaza and inspect the detention centers that have been deemed by judges to be unconstitutional and cruel and unusual. And then finally, we're continuing to put the pressure on with a coordinated effort to prevent Donald Trump from sending the military into our city. And this is a pretty broad coordinated effort with some of the immigration advocacy groups, elected officials, the business community, the NYPD, the mayor's office. This is an all hands on deck effort to stop him from doing it using the model that San Francisco used, which sadly is whether you can find somebody who knows Donald Trump and can reach out to him directly and tell him not to do something. That's basically the world we're living in. That's how decisions are made now. So as frustrating as that is, we're certainly using every avenue, and I've personally called on the NYPD to be prepared to intervene and even arrest ICE officers who are acting outside of their official duties and responsibilities. And I think it's important that we change the narrative here, because the NYPD needs to be protecting New Yorkers, and that includes from ICE. So we're pushing on all cylinders. I want to finally just thank you all for the great work that you do, for giving your time to the critical issues that are facing all of us. It's a pleasure to represent you. I can assure you of that, and I want to make sure you all know that we are always here and available for anything. Certainly, if something you know to be a federal issue, come to us. You guys probably do know better than most what a local, state, or federal issue is, but we don't care. We take it all, and we'll figure out how best to solve the problem. So please just know you're always welcome, and anything that we can do to help, we will.
Thank you so much for joining us, Congressman Goldman. Do we have any questions from board members for the congressman? Okay. Wow. Okay.
Well, thanks a lot. It's great to see you all.
Thank you so much, Congressman Goldman.
I look forward to coming in person soon. Bye-bye.
Great. Thank you. So I'm going to turn we're going to go back to the public session, and I'm going to turn it back over to our first vice chair, Eugene Yu.
All right. Thank you, Valerie. We'll continue with speakers in the room. Next, we have Lois Rackhoff.
There is a free and open to the public concert Sunday, December 7th at 4 p.m. The Washington Square Music Festival is having its winter concert. It's going to be at St. Mark's Church in the Bowery, which is 131 East 10th Street. It's an accessible building. It's not church music. This is just a venue. You do not have to RSVP. The doors will be open, and you can sit where there are seats available. And for example, the Ahmed alum will be the conductor, and we'll have some music, Ravel, we'll have some Mozart, and some other music. And I think, Mark, did Peggy Friedman send you the flyer thing for the Washington Square Music Festival? Excellent. I don't have flyers. And for some of you who have asked about the Poe Room, it's tomorrow, Friday, and we're going to have a great time. I hope you RSVP'd and you'll see me there tomorrow. Bye-bye.
All right. Any questions for Lois? No? All right. Thank you, Lois. Next, we have Janine Kiley.
I want to briefly talk about de-icing and not what you get at the airport when your flight is delayed due to bad weather. Last weekend, I joined New York State Indivisible and many other people preparing to canvassing local businesses. Basically, we did an online training before. You work in pairs, and the goal is to help local business owners and managers understand their constitutional rights, sharing guidance on how to stay safe, if ICE does come into their business, how to protect their customers and employees, and access legal and community resources. So we'll be doing more of that downtown. So if anyone is interested, let me know. It'll probably be past after Thanksgiving. There is something in Chelsea this weekend I won't be doing, but if you're interested, let me know. I have a few of the red cards there. So basically the handouts are a big poster which takes you through the rights and shows you what a warrant looks like and what a fake warrant looks like. There's another sign that has a hand on it. It's a privacy sign. And basically ICE is legally allowed to go anywhere a customer can go, but they can't go to the back room or where employees eat lunch or keep their coats or whatever the case may be. So you would put that there as a reminder. And then there's these little red cards. I have a few over there that have the rights for people, and I would encourage people to take a picture and send it to friends and families. These are rights for citizens and non-citizens alike, because those ones are in English. The ones we had when we were canvassing were English, Spanish, and they are just have completed simplified Chinese, so we'll have those soon to go through Chinatown. So if you are interested in doing that in the future, reach out to me, and I don't know if this is something we can put in the, yes. Okay.
There's something Tuesday, November 25th on East 12th and 4th Avenue. So
Yes.
there's one before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so, and then there's another one this Saturday. So, and you can't do it on your own because you get basically a territory and you're told to go down this street just so people don't do the same streets multiple times and other places get left behind. And the biggest pitch I can say is if you've ever done any kind of canvassing ever, this is the easiest thing I've ever done. 100% hit ratio. Everybody said, thank you. When have you ever done something outside where you have 100% success rate? We went to 15 businesses. We actually ran out of literature. We weren't able to finish our territory because there wasn't enough literature. But think of things you've done in your life where 100% of the people say yes to essentially a cold call. So thank you. Yes, Lois. Yeah.
This is really,
Just come up here.
just basically, okay. What I've been doing on an individual basis with the literature is I know some people that are undocumented, they come into my life one way or another, and I explain it to them, and I give them the cards, the red cards, and the brochures that I might have. But my question is, they need an attorney. How would I tell them how to get an immigration attorney? There's nothing on the cards that has a telephone number, I think, for attorneys.
This is just for dealing with ICE encounters, but I'll reach out to the Empire State Indivisible folks and see what I can find. But in the training, and it's actually not on the cards, you're supposed to make a photocopy of your ID. You're not actually to take your passport or something with you because you don't want to lose it. And memorize phone numbers of people to call, because we're all so phone dependent, and we just push Lois and it calls Lois, but I don't actually know Lois's phone number. So that's some other tips to keep in mind. Anything else? Okay, thank you. I can't see behind the column.
It's just, is this on? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to be at the one on Saturday. It's 12 to 4 in Chelsea, so if you want to come to that one, let me know and I'll hook you up.
All righty. Okay, thanks, everyone.
Great, thank you, Janine. Next, we have, I believe in the room, Perry Vandermeer. Do we have Perry? No, is there a Perry online? No, okay. I'll move on to the next person that signed up for in-person, Michael Hack. Oh, sorry. Okay. And then the next person, who I believe is on Zoom, Raha Rafi. Okay. Raha, if you can, if you'd like to speak, we are allowing your line to speak on the Zoom.
Hi, can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, thank you. Good evening to everybody. My name is Raha Rafi'i, and I'm a part-time faculty member at the New School and a proud member of UAW Local 7902, which is the part-time faculty union. And I just wanted to talk about the New School and the fact that it's in the middle of a restructuring process that is cutting the jobs of the very people who make education possible. It's the teachers, the graduate student workers, and staff, while preserving inflated administrative salaries. We've seen hiring freezes, the elimination of classes students love, and a pause on admitting new PhD students. These are being framed as necessary, but the financial hardship we're facing is the result of years of top-heavy spending and mismanagement. The people who teach and mentor students are not the problem. They are the foundation of this university. Cutting our jobs does not make the school stronger, it makes education weaker. I'm asking our local elected officials and community boards to stand with us, the workers who sustain this institution, and to press the New School's leadership for transparency and accountability. And I'd also like to add that we're having a rally and information picket tomorrow in front of the New School University Center, which is on Fifth Avenue between 13th and 14th Streets, and invite everybody to come and support us there. Universities should model equity and fairness and not replicate corporate inequality, and that's what we're fighting for. Thank you.
Great. Are there any questions for Raha? No? Okay, thank you very much. That is all the speakers that have signed up ahead of time. If there is anyone in the room or online in the Zoom that would like to speak for the public session, raise your hand. No? Okay, great. So that concludes the public session. I'll turn it back over to our chair, Valerie Del Rosa.
Okay, great. So now we will do the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Are there any amendments for the agenda? Yes? Okay. Great, thank you. The agenda is adopted. Now we will go to our elected official reports. So we'll start with who's here in the room. I see a couple people here. Great. All right. Go ahead, take it away, Peter.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm Peter Say. I represent the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg. I have some updates and some announcements for you. First of all, my boss, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, along with State Senator Brian Kavanaugh and Assemblymember Michael Lasher, announced legislation to create new criminal penalties for the systematic harassment of rent-regulated tenants and penalize repeated recidivist harassment. This legislation will create a new Class D felony, aggravated harassment of rent-regulated tenants, to address systematic harassment across multiple buildings. and elevate the penalties for those previously convicted of harassment or rent-regular tenants in the first degree. This is important because our office has a housing and tenant protection unit, all right? This unit targets systematic criminal harassment of tenants and abuse of government programs by landlords and developers. So spread the word. If you know any friends, community members that are facing this issue, contact me. They know my contact here, and I'll put you in touch with this division. I want to give you some recent prosecution and sentencing. Daniel Hayden was convicted of driving while intoxicated and crashing into a crowd of people celebrating the 4th of July last year, killing 4 people, injuring 7. He was convicted of 4 counts of murder in the 2nd degree, 1 count of aggravated vehicle homicide. He will be sentenced on December 3rd. Moving on to a more positive note, we are announcing our Youth Ambassador Program. This is geared for kids. This is not a summer internship, rather a program for students to stay connected with the law enforcement community. It's a paying position. They meet once a week, sometimes on weekends, and I've left flyers and applications. Applications are open now. They are due December 12th. If people have any questions, we have an informational session on December 1st. So flyers are outside in the lobby. And I just want to say that we continue to work with the Village Interagency Task Force, tasked with quality of life issues in and around CB2, Washington Square Park. We have great participation from Mark Diller, Susanna Aarons. They attend, they contribute regularly. So thank you. Any questions? Yes?
Hi, I didn't see the flyer, but how much are students getting paid?
Minimum wage, $17 an hour.
And is it for an academic year, or what's the time frame?
It's the academic year. It's not a summer internship.
And what grade levels are we referring to?
Sophomores, rising juniors, seniors, high school level, senior high school students.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Thanks, Peter, for talking about our bill with tenant harassment. My name is Sharif Krabti. I'm a Community Affairs Liaison for State Senator Brian Kavanaugh. As some of you have already pointed out tonight, I lost a little bit of hair since the last time you saw me last month. It's been a very stressful month. No, I'm just kidding. It was intentional. But just a quick recap on our end. We held our pet adoption event on November 9th at Tompkins Square Park. It was a great event, even with the rain. We got to see a lot of cute dogs and cats leave with new homes, and that was great to see. Thanks to everyone who showed up. And be tuned for the next one once it warms up again with the weather. And then also just wanted to quickly shout out CB2 and NYU for putting on a great children's Halloween parade last month. It was the 35th one, and we delivered a Senate proclamation to both NYU and CB2 for continuing that legacy. Here's to 35 more years. And then in terms of legislative updates from Senator Kavanaugh, we co-hosted a hearing on residential property insurance this Tuesday with Senators Jamal Bailey and James Skoufis. They chair the Senate and Senate Committees on Insurance and Investigations, respectively. And the hearing was the first step in an investigative process with Senator Skoufis' office to look into the rising rates, the skyrocketing rates for residential property insurance. We heard from dozens of stakeholders and experts representing different parts of the sector, including state and city agencies, affordable housing providers, property owners, and insurance providers. And then we're going to be looking to publish a report by early next year on some of this information. In the meantime, we've already introduced 2 bills to immediately address the rising costs of residential property insurance, based on those conversations we've had with experts and regulators here in New York and around the country. First one is S8583A. That's with Assemblymember Torres as the assembly sponsor. It's an omnibus insurance bill. Does a couple things. It basically increases transparency in terms of reporting on the cost of premiums and what's driving up those costs. Requires premium discounts for mitigation efforts, directs the insurance to make that information public. It also changes the representation on the state's board when we offer the plan of last resort to basically strengthen the governance there and add more public members. And then the other bill is with Assemblymember Kellis. It introduces a cause of action for insurers and the state attorney general to pursue litigation for damages related to fossil fuel emissions from the largest fossil fuel corporations. So we think that's going to go a long way, and we're excited to talk more about those issues come legislative session in January. But thanks so much for having me. Happy to take any questions. Also, happy Thanksgiving.
Can we get a microphone for Rocio? Rocio?
Oh, thank you finally for addressing the problem with the insurance costs. My question to you is, what took you so long? I've been complaining about this for years because this is going on horrible for many, many years. Building owners have to pay 40, 50%, 60% increase in their insurance premiums, but the rents don't go up. Real estate taxes go up, but you guys have done nothing to help us until now. What took you so long?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for the question. I mean, I'll just start by saying, you know, I think it was, I don't know if it was last session or the session before, we had already passed some strong legislation banning discrimination in insurance charges and premiums. So we have already looked at insurance before, property insurance before, and made the immediate step of banning discrimination based off of, you know, what sort of housing you're providing. If you're providing affordable housing, insurers cannot, you know, raise your rates simply because that's what your housing, what your property is. This issue, you know, when we're looking at the rising rates, a lot of what we're seeing so far is that it's a very complicated issue. It's not totally clear what's driving up the rates. We have some ideas, you know, you're talking about climate change. We've talked to a bunch of experts over the last couple months during this investigation, but what's very clear is that it's a multifaceted issue, and it's something that requires a lot of time and effort and conversations to figure out what the best legislative fix for it can be. So, you know, to your point, obviously, you know, costs have been increasing for a while. The property owners have known that for a while. I think we have been in contact and working on this for months and months to figure out how best to approach it and how to have those conversations now.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thanks, Sharif. Appreciate it. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Connor from Councilmember Christopher Marte's office. Sorry I missed last month, but I'm back, don't worry. So it's just a couple updates for budget. We're still accepting ideas for participatory budgeting, so we really encourage everyone to do that before the deadline. You can really submit whatever you think is appropriate. We're allocating $1 million of capital funding. We have about 70, a little over 70 submissions right now, but we really want to get as many as we can to make sure that we have enough viable projects for the voting that'll happen later next year. You can do that until the 28th. But you can also submit just directly to our office, and we'll make sure it gets included as long as you do that before the end of the month. Also, for, you know, knowing that the federal government is back in session, but just for anyone who's been experiencing issues with SNAP, we have been trying to make people more aware of whatever food distributions are available in the district, and we forwarded some to Community Board 2. But if people have further questions about access to those or getting involved, like, please reach out to our office. We'd be happy to connect you. Also, just a notice that a lot of the Grow NYC farm stands will be closing for the winter soon, so make sure to check them out if you haven't yet. And then just an update on Elizabeth Street Garden. I'm sure you've been hearing a lot about it in the news. So our office has just continued to coordinate with the current administration, with the garden, and the owner of the Bowery, the private Bowery site that's involved, to push forward our plan that's in place to preserve the garden and make sure that the more than 600 units of affordable housing are on track. These have all been continuing to move forward. The council member has also been actively discussing the plan with the incoming administration, and so we are moving forward as planned with no planned interruptions. You also might have heard that the lawsuit was filed recently by the development team for the Haven Green project. I think that we disagree about the merits of the lawsuit, but that is just to be determined by the court. The judge will be considering whether to dismiss the lawsuit on this coming Monday. And then just another update for the Soho Arts Fund lawsuit. We just wanted to let folks know that the city appealed after the unanimous decision in support of the tenants. And so at the Court of Appeals, oral arguments were heard yesterday for and against the appeal from both parties. So just stay tuned for a decision on that as well. And I'll take any questions.
Do we have any questions? Okay, thank you so much. Oh, we have one. Rocio, can we get a microphone? Thank you.
Thank you for coming and speaking today. I remember reading a list of the council people who are in favor of Proposition 902, I think it is. And I wanted to know whether Mr. Marte is in favor of the COPA. And, and does he realize if he is he? Yes, so I can continue with my questioning.
So currently, I believe the council member is not on the bill. We've been in conversation with Councilmember Nurse's office, who's the head sponsor. It used to be Carlina Rivera, now it's Sandy Nurse. And understanding the merits of the bill, there's just been some specifics around narrowing down the entities that would qualify for the program, as well as what is resultantly built on each site that's involved. Like, we've just been in conversation and coordinating. So those are ongoing conversations with our legislative director. I've been involved in some of those conversations, so trying to be productive.
Yeah, so if you could please bring back some of the comments that I'm going to say. Does he realize that this COPA bill will be a nail in the coffin for the real estate business in New York City, and that 52% of New York City's budget comes from real estate taxes, and this law will cripple small property owners as well as the tenants they intend to protect. More legislation will not solve the housing crisis. Building more will. That's why Elizabeth Street Garden, right? You need to build more, but other sites as well. I'd like to know whether the council person is interested in meeting with small property owners so that we can really voice our opinions and our struggles being a small property owners in New York. So please let me know if there's any interest. I will be more than happy to bring a few people to speak to him about it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I will, I'll relay those comments. I think our office is open for any group of people to advocate on any side of legislation. So I can make sure you have my card and you can follow up if people would like to meet with him about it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Oh, can we?
Sorry. There we go. Hi, Caroline Wexelbaum from State Senator Brad Hoylman Siegel's office. Happy almost Thanksgiving. This past month, Governor Hochul signed what's nicknamed the Jack Reed Law, which is making New York the 7th state to enact anti-bullying protections for private school students. Senator Hoylman Siegel also helped secure 500 turkeys for the annual Lincoln Center Thanksgiving distribution to NYCHA tenants, and partners in CB2 really helped us out with this. And then also, we've been getting a lot of questions. Senator Hoylman Siegel, as many of you know, will be completing his term in the state Senate at the end of December, so we are starting to wind down our operation. So if anybody has any questions about that, please feel free to get in touch.
Okay, I'm not seeing any questions in the room or online. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Lane Sohn with Assemblymember Glick's office. Just a few quick updates for you tonight. So Assemblymember Glick was in Albany today to hold a hearing as the chair of the Committee on Environmental Conservation with the Committee on Oversight, Analysis, and Investigation and the Committee on Health. So this was a joint hearing to discuss New York's lead service line replacement programs. All the service lines need to be replaced by 2037 as per new EPA laws or rules from 2024. And so they held the hearing today to discuss any potential barriers to the 2037 replacement deadline and assess the use and availability of funding for lead service line removal programs. So if you are super interested in lead in our pipes, you can watch the hearing via the archived live stream on the Assembly's website. And then an announcement from the Department of Aging that we're just sharing with you all that you might be interested. So December 1st is World AIDS Day, and they're holding a panel discussion titled 45 Years Later, a discussion on the AIDS generation in older adulthood. So I left some flyers out in front with the QR code to register if you're interested in watching the discussion. Yeah, thanks everyone, and happy to answer any questions.
Any questions in the room or on Zoom? Okay. Okay, I don't think we have any questions. Thanks so much. Hi.
Thanks everyone.
Great.
Hello, everyone. Kimberly Bravo from the Office of Assemblymember Grace Lee. I have just 3 updates for you all tonight. So first off, on Saturday the 15th, our office co-hosted the 7th annual LES Turkey Drive with Vision Urbana. We provided over 1,500 families with turkeys and chickens for Thanksgiving this year. Second, Assemblymember Lee's legislative mailer should have arrived at your households. Chinese and Spanish mailer copies are available online by scanning the QR code on the physical copy. Lastly, Assemblymember Lee recently joined a letter with her colleagues calling for a timely agreement between the WNBA and its players. The league has seen phenomenal growth in recent years, but the women who drive that success still aren't being justly compensated. It's time that their talent, dedication, and impact are valued and paid for what they're truly worth. I can take any questions.
Any questions in the room or on Zoom? All right, seeing none, thank you so much. And then online, we have from the Borough President's Office, Sawaiba Shabazz. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
great.
Thank you, and good evening, CB2. I'm Sawaiba. On behalf of Andrew, I'll be replacing the report. So very briefly, all the community board leadership trainings are now on our YouTube channel. So if you're a community board member that didn't participate in the trainings, this is your time to look at the videos and confirm with Andrew that you have completed them, and we'll record it as having completed your trainings. And secondly, on November 18th, DOB announced new designs for sidewalk sheds. Back in 2024, the BP was in support of policies to improve these sidewalk sheds. So we're very excited about this policy. And yeah, that'll be all from me. And once again, happy Thanksgiving, and thank you for giving me a chance to speak tonight.
Great, thank you so much. Any questions in the room or on Zoom? Okay, thank you so much. So that, are there any elected officials that or representatives I missed in the room or on Zoom? I'm not seeing any, so, she wasn't promoted, so I was just going off of who I saw in the queue on panelists. Okay, Nicole. Hi, we just need you to unmute.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much, Valerie. I am just going to go through a couple things really fast here. As part of our policy perspective series, On Monday, Eric is having a conversation about the future of Penn Station with Andy Byford. It will be from 5 to 6 p.m. on Zoom. And contact our office if you want any more information. I'm also going to put a link in the chat about everything I am speaking about tonight. Also want to let you know that the Cultural Affairs Committee hearing note, there's a Cultural Affairs Committee hearing notice on censorship in the arts. That is taking place on Thursday, November 20th at 10 a.m. Eric is now the chair of the New York City's Council's Committee on Cultural Affairs, Libraries, and International Intergroup Relations, and he wanted to let you know about this oversight hearing given in recent months. People have received directives from the Trump administration because they've been targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs at cultural institutions, and it's just creating a chilling effect on the exhibitions and grant making and educational work. So I can also send more information out to you, but that is happening. There's a hearing on Monday. You can come in and you can testify. There's new legislation. New York City now leads the nation with a new gun safety law requiring graphic warnings at point of sale. This is a first of its kind in the nation. Gun stores have to display graphic warning images that are similar to like the warnings like on cigarette packs to illustrate the real dangers of keeping a firearm in the house. One other bit of legislation enabling new artist housing. Sorry, I keep tripping over my words tonight. And this is legislation that gives preference to artists, and it will not violate the city's human rights law, which prohibits discrimination based on occupation. The change will finally allow the Department of Housing Preservation and Development and nonprofit developers to move forward with building affordable housing specifically for artists. Just like I want to echo what Connor had to say, you still have times to submit your ideas for participatory budgeting. There is, if you just Google ideas map, New York City Council, it'll pop up. You can give us a call at the office. We're happy to take your ideas. Or if you want to become a PB delegate, we will also encourage that. So other than that, we have a regular housing clinic, rent freeze clinic. Just give us a call at the office if you have any questions, and we would be happy to help. I'll put everything in the chat. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, any questions for Nicole in the room or on Zoom? All right, seeing none, I will close out the reports to the, I will start with the chair's report because that's still a report to the public, so that will be me. First of all, I want to thank you to NYU's community engagement team for their continued support and partnership. Valentine, if you're still here, we appreciate you, and thanks to you and the rest of the team for the space tonight, for pulling off another successful NYU CB2 Children's Halloween Parade. It was bigger and better and windier than ever, and that wasn't just because I was the Grand Marshal this year, I promise. It actually was bigger because we were on West 3rd Street, and I didn't have anything to do with the wind. So, I also want to thank Mark and Florence for continuing the tradition of the CB2 popcorn booth at the carnival that follows the Children's Halloween Parade. It was fun to be there with you guys for a little bit while everyone got warm popcorn. So with that, today, CBs 1, 2, and 3, we had our annual meeting with State Liquor Authority SLA Chair Lily Fan, along with other elected officials. So that happens every year. It was my first time to attend that, and it was a very productive and robust meeting. And then since we had such a great time with CBs 1 and 3, we're going to do it all over again on Monday, where CBs 1, 2, and 3 will be hosting a joint meeting on the Canal Street redesign on Monday, November 24th at MS 131. Doors open at 5:45 p.m. And I will quickly put this up just so I meant to have it when I was speaking. So there's the flyer, and let me go back to my notes. There will be a short presentation from DOT. The slides are linked on our website calendar, and then we will take public testimony in the room and on Zoom from all three boards. And I want to thanks to Janine Kiley and to Mark Diller for making this happen. Many emails, text chains, etc. Oh, and that's a little off, isn't it? Can't really see it. There we go. Anyways, it's linked on the calendar and in our email, but I just thought I would show that. CB3 designed this. So thanks to them for that. And as far as, all right, so let me get to the end of my report. So we have 2 board members resigning this month. The first is Brant Rossler, who joined us earlier this year. He has moved out of the district and does not work in the district and does not otherwise have a nexus to the district that would keep his eligibility for the board membership. So thank you for your service, Brant. I don't believe he is here this evening or online. And I also want to take a moment to extend my heartfelt thanks to Zach Kazaz for his dedicated service to CB2. Since his appointment in 2023, he has brought a steady commitment, thoughtful engagement, and a genuine spirit for collaboration to our work. And while we are, of course, sad to see him step down from his role as a board member, we are grateful for the time, energy, and care that he has brought into has invested into our community. So please join me in giving him thanks and look forward to what's next. And he's not going far, but Zachary, if you'd like to say anything. I also told him this would be an option if he wanted to say something, so it's not just throwing him on the spot, but something tells me he's not afraid of a microphone.
No. Thank you, Valerie, for the kind words. And first, I wanted to thank the Borough President's Office, as well as the office of Eric Botcher, who initially nominated me for allowing me to serve on the board. I am reluctantly resigning. I was quite disappointed to learn that even if you were reappointed, if you move out of the district, you can no longer serve, which, if you all know, that is a more stringent requirement than exists for both City Council and Congress. So I hope that for the elected officials who are being represented in the room, we could potentially change that in the future, because just 2 of us in the last month had to resign for that reason. And of course, I love working with all of you, and it's been really fantastic. I also wanted to give a special thank you to the former chair, Susan, to Valerie, the current chair, and to all the committee chairs. I feel like I've learned so much from all of you. And then, of course, to all the members, I've really appreciated how collegial the discussions can be, even when people are quite passionate about topics, and the lenses each of you individually bring to the topic, as well as being able to really accurately represent the voices of the community. So I will certainly miss you all. I'm not moving very far. I just moved to the north side of 14th Street, which is out of our district, but please do stay in touch. Also, hoping to get engaged in other ways within the city, whether there are other boards or other things at the city level that I could do. I look forward to those opportunities. And if people go out to drinks after, I will come back and join for that. But I will take my leave now since I cannot vote in this meeting. Thank you again to all of you.
Thank you, Zach. And Zach, thank you again. I feel like we were just getting started, but I'm sure this is not, that there will be further collaborations outside of the nexus of this group, I'm sure, with people here. So thank you again. And thank you to all of you. Thank you for each one of you, our board members, for what you continue to do. It is the collective dedication of each one of you that makes CB2 strong. You reorganize your calendar, your month for this meeting tonight. You do it for your committee meetings, for other things in the community that are related to your work here. So I just want to take a moment to thank you. I'm very proud to serve alongside you. So with that, that is my chair's report for this month. I'm going to turn it over to our district manager, Mark Diller.
Thanks. And a lot of what I wanted to cover has already been covered, so of course I'll repeat it. So I do want to echo the thanks to NYU, not just because Valentine is a superstar getting us all set up in the right way, but because our lease has been renewed at least through May. So we have this room continuing, and this is a great space for us. It's a great space for the community. It's kind of equidistant from various points. And of course, it's a block from the office, so how can I object? We took part in a launching effort for I guess they're going to call it Spring Street Plaza. Hudson Square Bid is going to turn a portion of the street of what is Little 6th Avenue, and I didn't know that existed until now. It's like a side street that forms the triangle around, right near where that new elevator to the C and E train at Spring Street is going to be. And they're collecting ideas on how to activate that plaza. That's why I'm mentioning it. I'm going to put a link in the e-blast tomorrow to their flyer. I'm pretty sure it's also on the Hudson Square Bids website. Let's see. Okay, well, we've already talked about the Village Interagency Task Force. Peter Say mentioned that there are 2 meetings every other week, and we alternate between vulnerable individuals in need and trying to address their needs, and then sort of more ordinary quality of life things where we're trying to get 2 agencies to talk to one another. I'm particularly grateful to Peter Say for inviting CB2 to be a part of it and for making sure that it continues even after that big march operation in the park, which you probably heard about, with multiple arrests and coordinated outreach. Let's see. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Jonathan and Colloid Media once again. It's just such a relief not to have to worry whether the audio is going to work. One of the things that we're doing a little bit new on the website and in the e-blast is a list of resources for people who are food insecure. And it turns out that there are some, and not as many as you might think. So I welcome any additions to that. Please email me, take a look at it. It's on the website. It'll be in the e-blast tomorrow. And Janine's great idea was to add a column about how to donate to these folks, because of course this district has folks in need. It also has folks who can help out folks in need. And so and I don't have donate buttons for all of them, so if you could help me with that, I'd be glad to continuously update this so we can be a resource for those folks on both sides of that equation. And with that, I'm going to say thank you. That's my report, unless there are questions.
Great, thank you. Before I turn it over to our secretary, Emma, to roll call to start the business session, I failed to mention, I'll just mention one more time, but we will follow up over email, that the CB2 holiday party is on Monday, December 8th. So I will be emailing that out along with thank you to our past chair, Susan Kent, who has so generously offered to collect your gifts for the staff. So we'll be sending all that out. So thank you, Susan, for agreeing to organize that. I can't thank you enough. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Emma to do roll call so we can go to business session.
Thank you, Valerie. All right, folks. Will Banesh. Keen Berger. Carter Booth. Katie Bordenaro. Anita Brandt. Amy Brenna. Rich Cacapolo. Nina Chen.
Here.
Thanks, Nina. Got you. Valerie De La Rosa. Chris Dignas. Arturo Fernandez. Mara Fitzgerald. Susan Gammy. David Gruber.
Here.
Thank you. Juliet Kay. Zach Kazaz has now departed. Okay, I'm gonna move that. Susan Kent.
Here.
Thank you. Ryder Kessler. Janine Kiley. Patricia Laria. Janet Liff. Benjamin Listman. Ed Ma. Okay. Paul McDade. Brian Pape. Matthew Pereira. Donna Raftery. Lois Ratkoff. Bo Rigobono. Rocio Sands. Shirley Secunda. Edward Siegel. Eddie, are you? Okay. Frederica Siegel.
Here.
Thank you. Emma Smith, present. Dr. Shirley Smith. Chenault Spence.
Here.
Thanks, Chenault. Sean Sweeney. Susan Wittenberg. Anthony Wong. Eugene Yu. Perfect. We still have quorum.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So now I'm going to ask if we have a motion to approve the October full board minutes, or if we have any corrections. Okay, do we have a motion to approve? Okay, we have a motion from Susan Gamey. Do we have a second? Second, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Smith. All right, so now I'm going to call on Donna Raftery for the next agenda item, a resolution regarding perimeter demarcation for sidewalk cafes with a single row of two tops.
Okay, this is a resolution that came out of exec. It's regarding perimeter demarcation for the sidewalk cafes with a single row of two top tables. And I'll just read therefore be it resolved. Therefore be it resolved that Manhattan Community Board 2 recommends that the Dining Out NYC program exempt sidewalk cafes consisting solely of a single row of two top tables, one table with two chairs, placed directly against and parallel to the building facade, which meet both ADA and clear path requirements from the perimeter demarcation requirement, provided that all other accessibility and clear path standards outlined in the Dining Out NYC rules are met. That is it.
Okay, do we have any discussion or questions, discussion? Okay, Brian?
Hello. So you may have noticed that I voted against proceeding with this. I feel very strongly on this. I've had the pleasure of joining the board and working on the Quality of Life Committee, where we reviewed sidewalk cafe applications, and then it got changed during the pandemic and so on. My wife and I made a point of finding places that had outdoor dining. We love outdoor dining, and we always have. And we have been dealing as a board, as a community, and as a city with trying to maintain quality of life by establishing certain rules. And I might add, we don't establish them, we enforce the rules that the city has established. This particular resolution is only going to weaken what is already a very difficult task of enforcing the rules and keeping the sidewalk seating from just creating havoc on our sidewalks. As it is, there's an awful lot of establishments that don't abide by the rules of establishing a barrier to keep the seating from just drifting into the rest of the sidewalk or over to the neighbors. You know, it just goes on and on. So without the rules, and I think the rules are very reasonable, so I find taking away the rules, softening it, it just encourages the lack of respect for the rules. So I would recommend that we do not establish this as our position for the board. Thank you.
Great. Any other discussion? Okay, Rocio, can we get a microphone? Thank you.
I appreciate what you said, and I just wondered, the sidewalk cafes have been working part of the city for many, 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 many years. My restaurant opened back in 1970, and I think maybe 71, 72, we got our first license. And I'm wondering how many of the establishments that have sidewalk cafes have been negative or bad operators? Would you say that it's a lot of them? And would you say that most of them actually comply? And therefore, maybe this is why the city has decided it doesn't need these barriers? So I want everyone to reconsider and take a look at what really happens on the streets. Have they many bad operators? And if they are, they should be reported. And New York City, whether you like it or not, they do go and inspect, and they do give violations, and they do give warnings. So I think this is a good resolution, and I'm very happy to see that Community Board 2 is in favor of supporting the small businesses that have these sidewalk cafes. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments on Zoom? Chenault, thank you.
I'd first like to know why this comes from the executive committee rather than from the dining out committee.
Okay, yeah. There are a number of bills that are going to be spoken about at City Council regarding outdoor dining on Monday. And this was something that we had talked about informally, both a little bit at SLA and at Outdoor Dining Working Group. And so we brought it up as new business at exec, because there was no other time between, to do it before the bills were going to be talked about, if we want to speak to it at the City Council hearing.
That's clear. We have that.
And it was brought up as new business at the Outdoor Dining Working Group.
The question of encroachment is real and is not enforced. I gave some examples the other night. Right along 4th Street is a good example of unenforced ones. The two cases that I mentioned were both where there is a table against the wall. It seems like that it's particularly difficult about the encroachment because where there would only be this situation against the wall would automatically seem to be a small sidewalk to begin with, so that the situation is just amplified because there's not much left, or the absolute minimum is left. And if it were greater, they would have bigger seating. And I don't see that this is such a terrible burden.
Okay, any other discussion? Shirley, can we get a microphone? Yeah.
It's working now.
Hi, yeah, working. Just clarification, this is only applying to the single row, which is next to the building, and nothing else. So actually, the barriers would remain for everything else, is that correct? Okay, that's all, I just wanted to clarify.
Any other discussion on this resolution? Is there any unwillingness to vote on this resolution? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor Opposed? Okay.
Thanks, folks. I'll just call your names. Susan, go ahead, put your hand down. Susan Gammy. Sean Sweeney. Amy Brenna, thank you. Patricia, thank you. Eugene, thank you. Anita, thank you. Brian, yep. Thank you. Any hands still in the air? Oh, Katie, I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, I'll go there. I just want to check the hands in the room first. But Katie, you are not, but okay, thank you. And hands online, Chenault, I've got you up there. Thanks, Chenault.
Can you read off the
Great.
final vote?
Yep, that is 8 folks against. And I can do my math in just a moment, but this will pass.
Great, thank you so much. So with that, we're now going to move to resolutions from the standing committee. So first we have land use.
All right, thank you. For November, Land Use and Housing had one resolution resulting from our meeting. Let me just read the resolution. This is a resolution regarding a master plan for the Gansevoort Square project. I'll read the therefore be it resolved. Therefore be it resolved that Community Board 2 Manhattan is calling for the development of a master plan for the area bounded by Jane Street on the south, West 14th Street on the north, Washington Street on the east, and 9A on the west that addresses the following. Incorporates adjacent public parcels and obsolete street beds to expand the developable area, maximizes affordable housing on public land, reconfigures the outdated industrial grid, including potential street demapping to improve circulation and safety, strengthens connections to Hudson River Park, and improves the streetscape and open space, evaluates utilities and flood resilience needs within the FEMA Special Flood Hazard Area. Therefore, be it further resolved that CB2 Manhattan insists that any planning process include meaningful and lengthy community involvement with the immediate and adjacent neighborhoods. And I just want to pause. There is a section of the resolution that is bold. You'll find that there are some sections of the whereas that are bold, and the next section of the therefore be it resolved. This is bold because it incorporates additional information from a publication that was published subsequent to the Land Use and Housing meeting. At exec, there was a motion to direct that passed that directed the Land Use Committee to add additional items in the whereases and the therefore be it resolved to reflect the additional information that was then available to us. So the third, therefore be it resolved, therefore be it further resolved that based on the new information and concerns about the emerging developer that may have materially compromised the selection process, CB2 Manhattan recommends that this proposal be revisited and the process be reopened.
Is there any discussion? Okay, Keen. And we'll go to Arturo so we can get microphones, and then Dr. Smith.
Explain it.
Oh, the entire resolution?
Oh, I mean, that's,
Or just-
what happened? What is this emerging, what happened?
Sure. There was an article in the Real Deal that was published on I think last week, Monday, actually this week, apologies. It turns out that the winning developers, so the winning developer, the winning team actually is a development firm, and it's paired with what's called an emerging developer. And the emerging developer is really a way for EDC to expand the pool of developers that are familiar with affordable housing projects, so that they don't see the same 3 or 4 big developers over and over again. So it's highly recommended that firms pair up with a junior, what they're calling an emerging developer, which had less experience. And there was a list of criteria that qualified what was an emerging developer. It turns out that the emerging developer was the main principal for this emerging developer is also formerly the chief operating officer of a very prominent development company in New York City. It's a multi-billion-dollar developer. The article was questioning whether that met the spirit of and the intent of what an emerging developer should be. It uncovered that this developer was formed just this year. It seemed to be for the purpose of applying for the RFP. It also interviewed and quoted, in the resolution, there's actually a quote from former New York City First Deputy Mayor Alicia Glenn, and her comments on the choice of the emerging developer Kinwood Partners was that it was, quote, appalling and disgraceful. And so based on that, either it appeared that EDC was unaware and had not done due diligence on the emerging developer, or they were aware and this is a deeper issue. So either they're, it's either incompetence or corruption. It was something that we felt, and exec felt very strongly that it should be a part of the resolution that had been passed. Sure.
Arturo?
I just have a point of information. Is this amended language being voted on since it wasn't passed by the Land Use Committee here at full board, or are we?
So I can answer that. So if you, what Eugene had said earlier is that exec voted to put there was a motion at exec that was made to add to the resolution language that addressed the emerging developer issue. Yeah?
Okay.
Great.
All right, well, I'll just comment as is, because I think this resolution with the amendment deviates quite a bit from the original resolution, which was asking for a master plan in the Gansevoort meatpacking district. Unfortunately, I think this amendment seems very inconsistent with city actions like City of Yes and voter passed actions like the 2 housing bill initiatives in terms of supporting an agenda and an environment that facilitates housing. I think as a community board, we should take that responsibility. We should take it in that spirit, which is we want to see more housing, and we should, instead of trying to delay or derail projects, we should do a good job of trying to make good faith efforts to facilitate housing.
Okay, any other, okay, I was gonna call on Dr. Smith and I'll go to Carter. Oh, you had your question. Okay, so Carter, and then Katie. I'll go to Frederica.
Are you calling on me now?
No, Carter, and then Katie, and then we'll.
I just wanted to comment on the emerging developer part. That's an incredibly important distinction, because we need, I think it's some. Can you hear me? No.
You gotta go right. All right, now this one's working.
All right, so the emerging, the designation of working with a partner is incredibly important if we want more housing development in the city, because people have to play a role in these large projects in order to go on to be regular players in the development marketplace. And I think it's really important that those designations and descriptions are followed so that there are enough developers. One of the things that we need in order to have more housing is more people building housing all throughout the city of all different types. And that climate is very important to foster and develop. And you can't do that when, if any of you read the Real Deal article, when that's what's happening, is that you have major players just doubling down to build essentially, you know, projects which are full of luxury housing. You know, we need more experienced people, and the only way to get experience is by participating, and that's why they have requirements such as this.
Okay, Katie, Frederica, then Ryder, and then Nina.
Okay, I was on a Zoom meeting this Saturday, and everyone's saying, use the mic like a rock star. So now I've got a new saying. I don't think that these additions to the resolution are negative about housing at all. What the committee and what the land use committee's goal is more housing, and what these additions to this resolution is about more housing. We're trying to identify more places where housing could be built, and perhaps enlarge the footprint of the building in the northwest corner of the project, so it could have a more rational setup and provide more housing. And so that's what the idea is, from my point of view, and I think from the entire committee, including Arturo, more housing. If it takes a little bit longer to get more and better, that's what this resolution is saying. More and better, and as Carter says, also expanding the people who can provide it. An emerging developer is also is supposed to be someone who's from an underrepresented group in this field. Perhaps a person of color, perhaps a woman, or some other underrepresented definition. The person who's been chosen as an emerging developer is an experienced real estate person who could probably do it in any situation. So it wouldn't be expanding the universe the way the intent of the definition is. So I hope that I'm going to vote for it, and I hope others will too.
Yeah, we have Frederica online, then we're going to go to Ryder, and then...
Thank you, sorry. Arturo, I understand what you're saying, but I think you have the wrong end of the stick. The information about the quotes emerging developer came after our meeting, and I think it would be a mistake not to take advantage of what we learned to include in our resolution. The whole point of adding the extra property is to get a larger site, so we would get more affordable housing. And the team that the EDC chose, either knowingly or ignorantly, is an embarrassment to the situation that they were trying to address by calling for a emerging developer. Part of the requirement of an emerging developer is that you have done less than a certain number of projects. So in this case, it's an advantage if you've done fewer, because this is an opportunity to give you something more. This was a firm that was just set up as what would you call it, a straw something, that they put it together just to go after this. And there were proposals that EDC got that had truly emerging developers who were going to offer more affordable housing than this group offered. So that, I think, is a reason to to call for reopening the process, not to make it longer, but to make it better. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Frederica. Ryder?
Thanks. Can you all hear me?
Mhm.
Yes, cool. I really agree with Carter's point about the importance of fostering emerging developers. I think a big problem with housing creation in the city has been that only a few really big developer incumbents can manage the processes that have existed for a long time, which was one of the reasons the ballot props to amend ULURP were important, and that we want more players and more competition. So I think the emerging developer idea is key. I think my understanding of it is slightly different than what Katie intimated. Like, I don't think it's about marginalized communities as much as it's about the record of buildings that they have done over a period of time and a size that we're trying to get smaller developers to do more and have more of a role in developing homes in New York. That being said, and I totally think that this is dirty, and I don't like that this developer was called emerging when clearly it's not accurate to designate them as such. My concern with the resolution now as written is the part about reopening the process, because I think we have competing values here where one is to express our displeasure with the misuse of emerging in this case, which is something that the RFP expressed an interest in but not a requirement for, and the interest to keep the ball rolling with this project. So it's almost 600 new homes for the area, 55% affordable, without public subsidy. Like, that's something I think, given our pro-housing perspective, we should want to keep moving forward. And so I think the idea of reopening the process, even if we do think this developer isn't really emerging, because that wasn't an actual requirement of the RFP, my preference would be to keep the ball rolling while expressing displeasure with the misapplication of that status to Kenwood. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll go to Susan and then Janine. Susan Wittenberg.
Sorry. One quick fact, this is publicly owned land, even though the Whitney has the right of first offer, ROFO. And so for us, we have very few situations where it is city land, and I think that also contributes to our wanting to take every chance possible to maximize the amount of housing that can be built on this. And so with expanding the site as we're proposing, we will get more housing on the site. And to me, that's incredibly important, even if it takes a little bit longer. The payoff will be so much greater in the end.
Okay, so I forgot, I said I was going to call on Nina Chen, and then I'll call on Janine.
No worries. So I was trying to look up the exact definition of emerging developers, but I couldn't. So does anyone have
It's in the resolution. So
right,
if you look in the.
It talks about a firm with limited experience and having barriers to enter the industry. Does it talk about the principles of the firm cannot have experience? Right, so I think if that's the definition of it's about the firm, not necessarily about the individual, then I think it's, well, I cannot say if there is a corruption, that I don't know. But if the definition of emerging developer is a firm with limited experience, I think then having someone who formed a new firm.
So there is the definition in the resolution, which is pulled straight from the RFP, and
right. So it's still,
one moment. If you look at the Kenwood Partners, it was originally formed as David Himmel Partners, and then it was renamed Kenwood Partners in October of 2025, just in time for submission to the RFP. So I mean, on any kind of glance at this, it seems that this entity was created for the purpose of submitting for this RFP. I don't think we can really look at this and say it's a standalone emerging developer in the true spirit. Obviously, you know, on a technicality, it may meet some of the requirements. But, you know, I think that the true intent of the emerging developer program is, we all understand it, which is to give smaller developers and increase the knowledge base of firms that do business with the city, that have, you know, that can build affordable housing, that, you know, the next time there's another RFP process in Brooklyn or Queens or Harlem, that the pool of firms is not going to be the same three that continue to dominate. Three is just kind of the number I just pulled, but, right, so if this is an entity that was created solely for appearing to be an emerging developer, I think that it gives a lot of pause, especially since this factored into, and we don't know how much it factored into, the selection of the final team. Obviously, it was recommended that developers partner up with a junior partner. It factored into the RFP scoring. And so, you know, the questions that the committee has is, did we pass up a more optimal solution that would have brought more housing? You know, we don't know.
So you're saying that the firm had everyone else, so they just, it was established firm, the only thing that was changed was the name?
The firm before October 2025, this firm did not exist. So the firm, again, the name is not, Kinwood Partners was created and incorporated in October of 2025. It did not exist prior to that. It was originally, there was an entity called David Himmel Partners that was formed in April. I believe that entity then changed its name to Kinwood Partners. But the point is, you know, subsequent to October, this firm did not exist.
I think then probably also.
Excuse me? I'm sorry. Sorry. I don't know who's speaking, so I can't see. Okay. So are we done? Can I call on the next? Oh, okay. Did you?
Yeah.
I just want to not have too much back and forth, but yeah. But did you have something you wanted to respond to?
I think then.
I know, but I've got a queue.
Yeah. Then we should have EDC clarify the definition, and so to avoid future.
The definition is right in the RFP.
So it's also right up here. This is from the RFP, that the city and New York City Economic Development Corporation are committed to increasing the participation of emerging developers and nonprofits in city development projects in order to reduce the barriers to entry into the real estate developer community. And next I had calling on was Janine.
Rereading the real deal. Oh, thank you. Just to, is this on? Okay. I just was rereading the Real Deal article. I mean, it's one of those things where it's possibly complies with the letter of the law, but not the spirit. The head executive of Himmel was worked on Chelsea Market, Milk Studios, and Pierce at 57 because he was at Jamestown Properties, and he also overlapped at sometimes at Jamestown with Andrew Kimball, who's now head of the EDC. But anyways, he's an experienced real estate executive. I have a couple of proposals. I wanted to propose some tweaks to this resolution. I would, in the therefore be it resolved, the second therefore be it resolved, I would get rid of the words and lengthy, because that just scares people away. And frankly, I think we should, I would kill the whole third therefore be it resolved, because the gist of this is there is a master plan, and we would like the city to take a look at it. And I wish it said it more explicitly. So maybe it was like, is calling for the development of a master plan to expand the project site with the area. I think I would add that, to expand this project site, because that's the whole point of this, is we want them to expand the project site. I don't know if there is a number in terms of the square feet of this space or estimate. I think that would just be helpful to, we're not expanding it by 30 feet, we're expanding it by whatever, 10,000 square feet. I just don't know if anyone's done any back of the envelope. So let me rephrase that. So therefore, the first therefore be it resolved is calling for the redevelopment of a master plan, adding to expand, getting rid of the word for. The second therefore be it resolved, get rid of and lengthy, and then just kill the third therefore be it resolved. We've raised this in the whereas clauses. If we want, we can add attached as our resolution, and we also have concern about the appalling and disgraceful inclusion of Kinwood or something like that in the cover letter, just to draw their attention. And that's my proposed alternative.
Okay, great. So now we can have discussion on that. Can you text the language so we can put it all up on the screen so everyone can see it?
Can we see the language in the third, sorry, in the third, therefore be it resolved? Could you either read it or put it up?
I'll put it up as what's proposed, but Janine, if you could text the language in the first one, I think I have the rest. You just give us a second on that. Susan and then Carter. Susan Gammy. Carter, if you could put yourself to a mic.
Okay, it works.
Most succinctly, I would say a risk-benefit analysis here. I need another. Okay, that's better, okay. I think we need to look at this from a risk-benefit point of view, and the risk of this project taking slightly longer versus the potential benefit of getting more affordable housing, which I think we all are in favor of, speaks for itself on the particular level of this property. On a larger level, the risk of enabling a situation like this and essentially creating a pathway for others to follow when applied on a city level and creating a precedent, the risk is far too great in its multiplier effect on what the potential number of affordable houses might be moving forward. I yield.
Carter?
Everything in the accessible by our city.
Okay, Mar?
This one's working.
This is really working. I'm going to put it over here. The one thing that I've learned from working in cannabis these last 3 years on the Cannabis Committee is that when laws or ideas or programs or initiatives have holes in them, they don't do what they say they're going to do. They don't do what they are intended to do. And the people that lose are the people always that are supposed to benefit. There's something missing in the emerging developer, program. There's something missing. And we need to uplift the fact that it needs to be fixed. So, to me, what's happening is it's the same reason we can't get rid of illicit cannabis dispensaries, because they just changed the corporate name. And now we're something new today. So I think great resolution, and let's try to fix the problem. Let's let them know. Let's flag this for them so that underserved professionals, nonprofits really have a chance to break in. I mean, we're becoming a country of monopolies.
Janine?
You got one? Okay.
Good as the one Mar had. I would propose then, maybe just instead of deleting the third one, just say fix the emerging developer program to eliminate loopholes. To eliminate something like that.
Maybe guidelines, because it's not a program, it's the
Guidelines.
guidelines, right? Okay, and then I had Arturo, and then I see I haven't heard from Janet yet, so let's go to Janet, and then we'll go to Arturo and Nina. Sorry, we're gonna go to Janet, because we haven't heard from Janet yet.
I would support either of what Janine said. I think the key thing here is, first of all, there's speculation. Is it emergencing? Is it not emergencing? A lot of people start new companies with experience, and the reason they can start a new company is because they had their experience. So like, is every employee the exact same? Like, I don't think we have enough information to say it's not emerging. But then to what Ryder pointed out, it was preferable, but not a requirement on this project. So, it was like, if it had said it was, a requirement, maybe the conversation would be different, but it's a preference. And we can't always just believe what the real deal chooses to spin. So I would support kind of either of what Janine recommended.
I just want to, one comment, is that, again, it wasn't a requirement for them to pair up with an emerging developer, but the language that EDC used, and in our talks with EDC as well, they indicated that that was a very important part of their selection criteria. It's unknown if they did the due diligence to really understand that Kinwood Partners was really not exactly what it was being presented as. It's like you said, there's some doubt. But what we do know is that it did affect the ultimate scoring. We don't know what the final scoring matrix for the RFP was, but it definitely affected the final scores. It affected the selection of the finalists. It affected the selection of the final winning team. We don't know to what extent. Would this have been disqualifying if EDC uncovered some more information? We don't know.
Arturo?
Yeah, I support at least the first version of Janine's amendments. I think it highlights the issue regarding emerging developers, the importance of defining and or requiring it, and then it also promotes an efficient process for housing. So I support that amendment.
We have not heard from Amy, so we'll go to Amy.
This one works.
It's on?
About this one.
Okay, good. I just want to say I support what Janine's doing. I don't have to repeat what everyone else has said, but I would just say one thing. This is what businesses do. Mars, correct. Maybe there's a little loophole here. The language has to be rewritten, but you can't start a business if no one has experience in that field. So I don't really know what this decision is, but I do agree that it's more important to get this process going so we move it along faster than going back, but yet flag this problem.
I think the question is we need to ask ourselves is, does the chief operating officer of a multi-billion-dollar real estate developer need a hand up in entering this field? Do they need a reduced barrier to entry? I mean, this is in a similar vein to the city's minority women. Exactly, right? It's meant to give opportunities to firms that are not typically represented in the city's pool. So, and it's again designed to spread the experience among, with a firm that doesn't necessarily have it. So again, someone that is, has done multi-billion-dollar projects, numerous multi-billion-dollar projects within the city, we would really have to ask, are they the recipient, or should they be the recipient of a preferential type of, I don't want to say preferential because that's a loaded word, but
Since I'm just, all I'll say, wait, he responded to me, I'm responding back.
Okay, I could call on you to do that, but we really don't want to have the back and forth. We do kind of want to move this along, but go ahead. I'm not telling you not to, just if you could just.
Yeah, I'll make it very short. I hear what you're saying. I think it would be great if Landmarks did a whole session about this problem and had other people come forward and say, we've had the same situation, and write a resolution urging that this be changed. But in the meantime, I'm for moving this process along and getting this housing.
Okay, we've not heard from Chris Dignas.
Hey, I got one. Oh, yep. Nope. Camera. Here we go. I think it might just be standing by the microphone itself. Nope. It's Chris Dignas, Broken Record Time. You all know me. I talk about the same statistics as always because it hasn't changed. It has not changed since I joined the board, since before and it's very simple stuff here. Developers develop. I understand that we're all angry that it shouldn't be a business. It should not be a business. Yet here we are. That's how it goes. They develop all sorts of things, whether it's luxury, and I'll just slowly walk around. And so when it comes to this resolution, whether it's about developers or not, we're delaying the inevitable. It's still, you all know the point. 33% of the people who are homeless are children. They are homeless right now, and we're still doing this. We're still debating whether or not we should have any kind of affordable housing. We already lost this election. It's over. It's affordable housing or housing. You should have affordable housing. Affordable housing.
All right, if we could wrap this up. Are we ready to vote? Okay, Ryder? Oh,
Thanks.
we have not heard from Chenault yet on this. Please, Chenault? Oh, let me.
This is not an emerging developer because the developer has not done anything to emerge. Its definition is perfectly clear.
Thank you, Chenault. Ryder?
Yeah. Yeah, so I just wanted to read what I think the emerging developer definition is, which is a firm with fewer than 10 projects in the past decade, each under 150 units, under 100,000 square feet, and costing less than $30 million. So it is about trying to bring in new entrants, but at the same time, to points I think that Amy and Janet were making, like, people who have these firms are probably going to be people with some experience in the real estate industry. That being said, I also think that this selection is not in line with the spirit of what the emerging developer appellation is actually trying to achieve, which is actually bringing in new people and to increase competitiveness. So I would recommend that as part of the amendment that Janine first put out, that resolved 3 really be about that. And what I drafted is, therefore be it resolved that based on the new information and concerns about the emerging developer chosen in this case, CB2 Manhattan urges that future assessment of emerging developers focus on truly bringing new entrants into New York City's developer market. Something like that, to say that this, we want it to actually, we want, when someone is designated as an emerging developer, we want that to be because they actually will be bringing new competitiveness and new players into the city.
Okay, so I've put what was been proposed and brought up, and if everyone's all right, voting on these amendments as a block. So the third one that had come up was fixing the emerging developer guidelines to eliminate loopholes. We certainly could vote on the first 2. Initially, it was to strike that, and we could then vote that down and then vote on this all over again. But if everyone's all right, we could vote on it as presented. Carter, you had a question? Oh, Katie has a question. Someone has a question. Could we get to the question or comment or discussion?
So I think that in looking at this, CB2 recommends fixing the emerging developer guidelines for this application. It's specifically about this application because EDC, just to what Eugene had said, used this as a specific criteria for why they selected this developer. And that is what, it was not a requirement, but they used it as a reasoning for why they chose this developer over other developers. And that is the issue.
Okay.
That was raised here. And so I wouldn't, I think that needs to be amended.
So we can do this a couple of ways. We can vote this down and then re-vote it again, or if we're good to accept all of these, I'm happy to present them to the body with adding in this application. If there's no objection to that, if there is, please let it be known. Carter?
Yeah, I think we should vote on each one individually, each of the changes.
Okay.
So that this, meaning that, yeah, I think it should, there's three different changes, right? Yeah, I'm not, I would disagree with that since that's not the order that it was done in.
So you want to vote, so what, are you saying to vote on each
Well,
one
I
individually?
don't have to make a motion because you're the one saying we should not follow our protocol. So
You're saying that we shouldn't, so I'm saying, you're saying that I'm saying that?
you're asking if there's any objection, and what I'm saying is you
There is
just combined
objection.
two, you combined two, and I'm objecting to that.
Okay,
and saying
okay,
this should
so
be
then,
handled
so
separately.
we're saying to vote on the first two, and then if someone wants to make a motion for the third one, since seems to be consensus on the language on the third, and then we can have the third one. So as is, the third one is not what this is, it's what's originally in your packet. So let me change what we're going to vote on then, if there's no objection to that. I'm also running the PowerPoint or the keynote, so you're going to have to bear with me because I've got to make this. No one else is hopping in on here on screen. So if you'll just give me a second. So I'm just going to remove that third one. And then this is what we're voting on. We did have an objection, so we will go back to this. Now I've got to play. This is just like in class. Okay, so one, share, there we go. So this is what we're voting on. Is there any unwillingness to vote on deleting the word for? I guess I should have struck it out. I hope that you guys will be okay with that if you'd like me to fix it. To expand, and then to remove in the second, therefore be it resolved, and lengthy. I did put the strike through there. So all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? Great. Now, if someone would like to propose some sort of change to the third amendment, because I have no language on the floor for that. So if someone would like to make a motion to change the writer. Now, if you'd like to make a change and you'd like for people to read it, I will need someone to text it to me.
The language I read out before, and I moved to amend Resolve 3 to the following, and I will text it to you, Valerie. Therefore, be it resolved that based on the new information and concerns about the, quote, emerging developer, unquote, chosen in this case, CB2 Manhattan urges that future assessment of emerging developers focus on truly bringing new entrants into New York City's developer market.
So I can't process that. If you could text it, I don't
Sure.
know if anyone else knows what that's. I'm just not I'm not an audio person, so I think people want to see it on screen. No, I'd like for someone to text it so we can put it on the slide in the same way we presented the other items. Will, do you have a question or a discussion? Excuse me, we discuss things, right, in business session?
I guess mine is like a
I
point of-
texted it to you,
I guess
Valerie.
mine's a
Come to
point-
order with the side conversations, thanks.
I guess mine's
Okay.
like a point of order. What happened to the Janine's third amendment? Did it just fall away?
So there
I
was
thought it was on the
objection,
floor at one point.
so there was objection to, there was objection to, well, I guess we could have voted on it as fully presented, which was to strike the third, therefore be it resolved. But the body accepted voting on the first two. There was no objection to that, but there was objection on the floor to having the third one in its new amended form. That happened through the discussion of the our first motion on the floor. Is that clear?
Oh, well, I thought the objection was that we wanted to vote for each of them separately. I didn't know that would make the third one go away. But I don't know. I'm just wondering if that's how it
Well,
works.
if you'd like to reopen the vote, someone can make a motion, I think, to reopen the vote. Carter, would you like to say something?
I'm just trying.
Well, I think that the other one wasn't put back on the floor. That's all that has to be done. That's it. So it could, whether it was on the floor or not.
So it is, so now there is, so I guess it's kind of a moot point because Ryder has brought the third one on the floor. We didn't have consensus on the language. I need the text, so no one can see it.
I texted it to you, Valerie.
Okay, so you'll have to maybe give me 1 minute to do this, yeah? I don't see a text. I see it.
Okay.
I see it, I see it. If you'll just give me a second.
While you're putting that in, I'll just add a little voiceover about why I proposed this rather than eliminating loopholes, because I think it's not really that there's a loophole, so to speak, in a rule. It's really about the spirit of the application of this terminology.
In the future, if someone would like to volunteer to do this, I certainly would welcome it. So just give me a second. So if you'd like me, Keen, if you have something, we're not really, if you'd like to go have a conversation, but we're not really calling on one another within the body. Just please be patient. That's up to you. It's going to take a minute to, She's not been asked, she hasn't raised her hand. Thank you so much for your patience. I just think it's very important for us to see this, and unless I do it, it's not going to happen. It's all just going to be, and nobody knows what they're voting on. So I think it's important, and so that's why I just went and did it. So there's the text, Janine.
to juggle. Since this hasn't been seconded yet, I believe, I would like to add, which you can do, that urges the reassessment of Kinwood and whatever their full name is, and that future, because that and then keep the rest, but add reassessment of Kinwood, because that, we have no idea if the city will actually reassess Kinwood, but this puts us on the record for making sure that these equity type programs that are, you know, that people find a truck driver provision in, that we're on the record for saying we don't support that.
So can you text that? So they actually have not this hasn't been seconded.
Yeah, so we tweaked to say
um,
before urges, I'll send you. I'll text
Okay.
you.
So it's, no, it hasn't been seconded, so. Okay, there's discussion. Carter?
So you know, if you go back and reread the whole resolution, it really speaks to we need a better process for here. If anybody's familiar with the Christie Avalon project at Bowery and Houston, which is 3 blocks large, that took a long time to develop that, but there's 3 blocks of housing. And that's because they did it right in the end. And what we have here is a little pinprick on this huge amount of city-owned property, that you have some strange process that came out with a 60-story building of somebody who is some very experienced developer who suddenly is wearing a hat of like, I'm the new guy and I deserve a break. And that really misses the point. Nobody in the community was ever informed that this whole area is being deindustrialized beforehand. There's no master plan. It's like if you put up one 60-story building in the middle, you're never going to get a good development out of the whole area to make it a residential community. It's just not going to happen. And that's a big part about taking an opportunity that we have here over a multi-block area with thousands and thousands of square feet of state-owned land and some city-owned land that can be re-envisioned where this use is that we're here no longer relevant. And we've all been waiting for it, but we found out at the last minute after this project had already been put forward. And on top of that, there's a museum that is not using any of their space to cross over into any housing. And nobody ever wants to talk about that. And as far as if you're a community member in a city with a housing crisis, you come up with better solutions to move forward on this. And this is a one-off chance to do that. And when Christie Avalon was done, it took a long time. What we see there now is a residential community. That's what the city is calling for. That's what we want to see, is a residential community in that area. You don't do that with one luxury super tall building. That's not how you get a planning of development of all the types of housing that everybody here is talking about. And I think that the other elephant in the room here is that this was a feather in the cap of somebody who didn't run for re-election, this project. And it's not, you know, that's why you hear all these missives of how was this done, what was this, what were people's relationships. And so it's a chance to go back and say, hey, now that the meat packers have left, what can we do over here that's going to end up in a better result for everybody and house families and have all the amenities that are needed for a residential community.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. And so this motion was seconded after Janine made the proposed changes. So we will vote on them with Janine's language since it was seconded after that was made. Okay, do you have a microphone?
I was seconding Ryder's motion because that was the motion that was on the floor, not with the changes that Janine has, unless Ryder wants to accept those amendments.
There's no friendly amendment, so, so that's the language in there, so you'd have to vote it down to then bring it back up again.
Okay.
Got it?
So what's on the screen?
What are we voting on?
Well, I'm going to tell you as soon as I update the keynote. Yeah? Yeah. So I'm gonna need language. Okay, here we go. Katie, why don't we, while this is being updated?
So my amendment's being amended?
First of all, I did not call on you, I called on Katie.
Oh,
so I'll call on you next. It appears you have something you'd like to ask or discuss.
I think I missed it in the
Great.
bathroom.
Katie?
Thank you. Thank you, Ryder. No problem. I just want to remind everyone in this room that the Land Use and Housing Committee is working on this resolution to create more housing. That's our goal. That's been our goal since we heard about Gansevoort Square. We're unsatisfied with what we've been presented, and we have talked over many meetings, and we've identified more area, and we're saying to the city, you didn't talk to us beforehand, but we've been listening, and we're trying to make it better. And we're asking this board to stand with the committee and make it better. Maybe it does delay it. I'm not denying that. But what we're trying to do is to make it bigger and better. And Janet, we're trying to have more families there. That is the goal of the committee. Okay? That is the goal. And we'd like to, and I agree, Chris, that's the goal of our committee. And that's what we're trying to do. So I just, sort of a bottom line fact about what's going on here.
One moment. Again, would love a volunteer, but I don't have one, so you just gotta be patient with me. Well, it's done. It's done. It's okay. It's okay. So, this is okay, Janet.
Just very
What's up?
quickly, I think we're conflating the two things. I mean, there is support from all of us on the first half, on the 2/3 of that amendment, which call for community engagement and all the things. Just because you have a developer who may or may not be experienced doesn't negate the other. Like, I don't think we should conflate those two things.
Okay, thank you. Who else? Any writer?
I just, maybe this is a point of order. I don't really know what that means. I just thought that the amendment would have to be voted up or down, and then a replacement amendment would be offered rather than changing the
So
amendment.
here's the deal. No, the amendment was not seconded. It was not seconded until after Janine made her comments. Then why didn't nobody? It's my understanding we could go watch the tape. I mean, it's my understanding that the second that it was, I asked if it had been seconded, and I got confirmation that it had not been from several people. Again, I've also been trying to put this language up here. So if Amy?
I sit in between the two of them. I can't exactly remember what order it happened in, but I know that as soon as Ryder put forward his amendment, he seconded it. Whether that was before or after Janine did hers, I don't know.
Well, this is what we have presented, so you can vote it up or down, and it's up to this body to decide on if you want to bring it back in a different form.
No,
Okay, so I've not
this is a
called,
point of
so
order.
I have not called on you?
Okay.
Okay, so you can't just speak out of order. Arturo?
No, I think that's a point of order. I think his original amendment was motioned and seconded on, and that should be what we vote on, and then we can make we could consider the changes that Janine proposed.
So this is what's being presented. If you don't agree with what's being presented, I've made the judgment. No one had a different, so if you would like to vote this down to then vote it back up another way and second it immediately after it's presented, then that's what this body can do. So if there's any unwillingness to vote, seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed?
Nay.
All right, folks, if the noes can stay in the air, I would be grateful. Thank you. Arturo, put your hand down. Amy, hand down. Matt, hand down. Rocio, thank you. Juliet, thank you. There's a hand behind the pole. Okay, Chris and Ryder, hands down. Chris. Okay, Ben, thank you. Nina, thanks, Ryan. Thank you, Nina. Janet, thank you. Will, thank you. One sec. I am also in the room and I'm voting no. Online, Eddie, thank you. I've got your hand. Is there anyone whose name I did not call? Okay. That is 13. Well, do you want to go abstentions and recusals?
Abstentions, recusals.
Okay. Seeing none of those. That is 13 noes. That's the remaining. This passes. One sec, I'll do my math, but it's a yes.
Thank you very much. All right, so next we'll go to our next standing committee, which is landmarks 1 and 2.
We have to vote on the resolution.
Oh, we have to vote on the resolution. Thank you so much. I will accept that out of order. Thanks. The amendment passes, but not the resolution. So let's get that resolution. Is there any further discussion on the resolution? Is there any unwillingness to vote on the resolution with the amendment as above? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed?
Thanks, folks. Appreciate the hands. Rocio. Chris. Janet. Anybody? And Eddie, you're no? Sorry, I'm just confirming that's not up from last time. It's for this vote.
I'm a no.
Okay. Thank you, Eddie. Okay. Anyone I didn't call? Go ahead. 4 noes.
Abstentions, recusals?
Abstentions up. Ryder, thank you. Nina, thank you. And I'm also abstaining.
Any abstentions
No, I got you.
online?
Sorry, Ryder, I got you first.
Recusals. Can you read the vote off?
Yep, that's 4 noes. That's 3 abstentions, which would leave us at 31 yeses.
Thank you very much. That passes.
I will have the math set for sure, but that's out of the top of my head.
Now we will move on to the landmarks reports and resolutions. I think so. Maybe I'll cool it on the slides for the rest of the meeting.
May I start?
Yes.
There are 2 meetings. A great many of these resolutions are long, tedious, and highly technical, and I'm going to do a great deal with summary, and I can amplify anything that's not clear. I remind everyone that the conclusions are more detailed than they might be because this is all that's read at the public session of the commission. So the whereas clauses are in the record, but no one knows that just hears the meeting. First is 1820 Christopher Street to legalize shutters, windows, and entrance transom that do not conform to the approved LPC permit. This was very strange because it never came to us before, and things were approved by the staff apparently that should have come to us, and we don't know whether they were done with or without permission. So it's a little confusing, but our resolution is that the application be revisited by the commission, that the dormer and dormer windows be reconstructed in the original condition, historic designs, and approve a transom window. Hudson Street and Morton Street were respectively withdrawn and laid over and to be reviewed by staff. 252 West 11th Street is a house. Most of the application is routine reconstruction and maintenance and a few improvements. In particular, to create new windows, install a new rooftop bulkhead, install new rooftop mechanical units. All the other is routine. Approve the general restoration, black trim except the front door, garden design and lighting fixtures. Deny the black for the front door and that it be a better color. Deny proposed narrow windows in both ends of the west facade and that the blind windows remain in the front and full-size windows be inserted in the blind window recesses in the rear. I told you it was technical. Stair bulkhead be made less obtrusive by being painted a lighter color. 48 Commerce Street, again, most of it is a restoration, and notably remove and replace the front facade at level 4 with new dormer and mustard roof and restore the cornice in the front facade. The stair bulkhead and mechanical equipment at the roof level. Approval of the mustard and dormer provided that the mustard is set behind the cornice and the dormer is wider and generally better proportioned and that the mustard is subdued historic color. Move the mechanical equipment away from the neighbor's windows. Approve the rear yard and so forth, provided that care is taken with the excavation. Approving of replacing of front stairs more or less in kind, and change the security gate to the usual double self-closing and the window bars in historic design. 8385 Sullivan Street is a pair of houses on Lower Sullivan Street, very close to 6th Avenue, that were designated as individual landmarks a good number of years before the district was designated. So they are doubly protected and doubly looked at for changes and that they be preserved, which is why they were individual landmarks to begin with. Applications to combine the two houses, install 2/2 wood windows, new shutters, reconstruct the deteriorated side and rear walls at 85, excavate the rear yard, install the addition at the roof, rear, and side alley.
And that's 1 through 6?
We are basically recommending approval for the restoration of the facades. The front facade is more or less intact, and the rear facade are in both cases both altered and in need of being replaced. We denied the rear ringer configuration in that they've completely distorted in the restored facades any semblance of historic windows or placement of windows. Approval of excavation with the usual care taken for the buildings. Denial of a street-facing entrance to the alley, which is a horse walk, and that to be preserved in a historic manner. The proposal distorted its historic appearance. Approval of the front facade restoration. Denial of the rooftop addition is overly large and highly visible. It's huge with a copper roof and is completely objectionable. looks like a blimp landed there. The main objection is of the rear extension that is completely in glass, so that the historic restored facade becomes an artifacts in a punch bowl or a fish tank, and it's laden with hanging gardens and balconies, all in a strange Hollywood type design. All of this that we recommend. Approval of rebuilding of the masonry, denial of the rear window configuration, approval of the excavation, denial of the street facing alley, approval of the front facade restoration, the denial of the rooftop addition, and finally, that the commission take no action on the application at this time and instruct the applicant to return to the Community Board Landmarks Committee with a revised application that respects the preservation of these historic houses and affords them the special consideration due any landmark property, and especially a pair of individual landmarks. Shall I go on, or do you want to do this meeting?
I'd like to vote. We'd like to vote on these items first. So do we have any discussion on landmarks 1, items 1 through 6? Arturo?
I have a question. Has CB2 historically taken a stance through resolution or otherwise on residential conversions that result on a net loss in housing?
For the from the Landmarks Committee, we always note in a case where that's the case. It almost always is row houses being converted back to single family original use. And we always note that. We as landmarks, we don't take a position about it. We simply note it.
Thank you, Chanel. And the reason I ask is if we haven't passed a resolution as a community board, I don't want to pull them out every single time, because at a time of incredible inequality and where people can't even access homeownership opportunities, it seems irresponsible as a society and government to be approving these types of net housing loss conversions. And again, I recognize Susan and Chanel, you've both kind of spoken to like this isn't in the purview of landmarks. So I'm just trying to think where that might be. And if there is no resolution, whether maybe we consider in land use or in the community board as a whole taking a stance on this. I don't know if anybody has an opinion.
Is there any other discussion on landmarks items 1 through 6? Katie?
I was going to ask something similar because I knew what Arturo was going to do. So I just want some information. Chanel, 83 and 85 Sullivan are going to become one house after this renovation?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, just want to be clear. Thank you.
It's losing one house. One of the two is in derelict condition.
Okay.
So it would be a loss of a single family house.
Okay, thank you. And just to build on what Arturo was saying, even though the townhouses are very clear to us, and we can see when they're being taken from a multifamily dwelling into a single family dwelling or combined, that's very visible. In a co-op, like the one I live in, people combine apartments all the time, and under a radar, we don't even know at the end of the day publicly that that's happened. So it's just, you know, I'm thinking you're making us me think about it more deeply and other ways that it's happening that we won't know about. So I'm just conversing.
Okay,
Thank you, Valerie.
Sure, Eugene?
Yeah, I just have one comment, which is that, you know, When you look at a lot of these townhouses in the village, they were all originally, or most of them were originally single-family houses. So it's actually the multi-family configuration that's not original.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on landmarks items 1 through 6? Is there any unwillingness to vote on landmarks items 1 through 6 from the first meeting? Seeing none, I will take these in a block. All those in favor for landmarks items 1 through 6?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? Thank you very much. Chenault?
The second
landmarks
meeting, application to demolish an existing garage at number 41 and construct a new building in its place to combine the new building with number 43, which is to have a rooftop addition. Approve the facade design of the overall design of 41 with the exception of the pilasters with glass windows. And to deny the pilasters, which are actually are windows so that the light and the apartment behind them shows, and we want them filled in to match all the others. Approve the facade and the extension of 43, which is the building that's being restored, with the exception of the ground floor, and that the ground floor be framed wood with substantial bulkheads found elsewhere in similar buildings in the district. What was proposed was a super modern glass from floor to ceiling.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Is there-
I've lost the address of the next one on the,
79 Christopher Street?
okay, is to construct a visible rooftop addition, and all the other is things that have to do with amplification of this rooftop addition. Approve the installation of the front facade case, sorry. Deny the penthouse unless it's moved to the rear of the staircase landing. And then there's language exactly the only way it can be placed that reduces visibility. And that's what we're after. And approve in B assorted things that flow from that. And it was approved. Again, I'm sorry, I've lost all the
390 Avenue of Americas?
yeah. If you have a copy that says existing second and third floor, it should say existing third and fourth floor.
I don't know.
To replace the windows on the existing third and fourth floor,
I see.
ribbon fixed windows, replace ground floor entrance storefront, install new windows and doors and large stair bulkhead, add privacy fence on the third floor, which will be the fourth floor rooftop.
Okay, great. So we have landmarks items.
Approving the casement windows.
I thought he was done.
This is a backwards conversion from it's a conversion from a totally business building to put 2 floors of housing on it, and there were not operable windows, and we just asked that they be of a better proportion. The privacy screens that are about on the roof are approved, and a moderately visible egress addition on the roof.
Is that it?
That's the, yeah. Just,
Okay. Just making sure. So landmarks 2, we have items 1 through 3. Okay, Eddie, do you have your hand up?
Yeah,
to
just a quick
discuss
question.
this?
Yeah, just a quick question for Chanel on number 2. Does that penthouse addition, does that just make the unit larger, or is that an additional, home that would be separate?
oh, it's a teeny tiny house. And it just is adding a floor to the house. It's not adding units.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, great. Are we, does anybody want to, I guess, call any of these out? Otherwise, is there any further discussion? Is there any unwillingness to vote on landmarks items 1 through 3? Seeing none, all those in favor for landmarks items 1 through 3?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? All right, thank you. Next, we will go on to street activities and resiliency.
All right. So we had 12 resolutions this month, one FYI renewal. I'll run through them quickly. Number 1, skincare truck, December 13th to 14th, Lafayette between Broome and Spring. Unanimous in favor, unanimous approve. There was also a further provided that, and that therefore be it resolved that the applicant remove all stencils from the sidewalk, which we understand they have done. Number 2, December 13th to 14th, Jim Shark Bond Street, store opening, Lafayette between Bleecker and Bond. That was a unanimous approve. Number 3, Easter card activation, November 8th, Soho, Prince between Broadway and Mercer. No show, deny, unanimous. Number 4, table tennis tournament, November 9th to 11th, Mulberry between East Houston and Prince. No show, deny, unanimous. Number 5, Madewell panel discussion, 565 Broadway, November 8th, Prince between Broadway and Mercer. Unanimous approve there with 1 recusal, Erica Olson, business relationship with Madewell's parent company. Number 6, November 12th to 13th, Charlotte Tilbury Flawless. That's a pure load in, load out. That was unanimous approve. Number 7, November 13th, Porsche Nerona launch. Green between Broome and Spring. That was a unanimous no show, deny. Number 8, November 20th, Journey's in-store event. I think we should delete that extra 11-13 there. That was West 14th between 5th and 6th, 5th and 6th Ave. That was unanimous approve. Number 9, this is a bunch of different closures. This is in regard to a Chanel fashion show that's happening indoors at a unused subway station. So this is only for curb parking and a bunch of loading in and loading out at different locations. We noted that there's going to be some drop-offs in a no standing zone. We flagged it to SAPO. We've been in communication with them. They said they're working with NYPD to find a way to make that work. So that's a unanimous approve there. Number 10 is additional curb lane closure related to this fashion show. This is, they're apparently renting out the entire Mercer Hotel. And so they're reserving some spots to park cars there. So that was unanimous approve. Again, none of that actual activations happening on the sidewalk or the street. Number 11, Dairy Boy event, 43 grand, December 1st through 8th. Grand between Thompson and West Broadway. That was unanimous approve within, we mentioned to them that the line they're going to be, they're only able to have a short line there because there's only about 30 feet, 20 or 30 feet in front of the store where they can do the 5-foot pedestrian right away. So we did a approval provided that they keep the line there. Number 12, January 24th, Bloom X Early Spring. This is Gansevoort Pedestrian Plaza. This is the northern part of the plaza, just south of 14th Street. That was unanimous approve. And then number 13 is the coffee truck at the JBL store. That's a renewal. That was approved unanimously.
Is there any discussion on street activities, items 1 through 12, or on the FYI renewal number 13? Not seeing any willingness to discuss. Is there any unwillingness to vote on these in a block, items 1 through 12 in the FYI renewal? Seeing none. Oh, we have someone on Zoom. I'm sorry, someone's pointing. I'm sorry, if there's something, why are we pointing, or if there's something you need to bring to my attention, if you could get on a microphone, or?
Just Will, when you sit down, take a look at the chat.
Yeah, we heard about that. That was, yeah, completely unauthorized, yeah.
Okay. Is there any unwillingness to vote on street activities, items 1 through 12, and FY renewal? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? Okay,
I'm recusing on number 12. I'm a voting member of the meatpacking bid.
okay, great, thank you. And now we're going to go to schools and education.
We had one resolution, and it was a resolution to restore the performing arts program at 75 Morton. Therefore, be it resolved, Community Board 2 strongly supports the parents, faculty, and administration at 75 Morton in their efforts to secure the necessary funding and resources to reinstate a dedicated curriculum-based performing arts program. And be it further resolved that CB2 urged the New York City Department of Education and relevant city officials to partner with 75 Morton to restore this critical program, ensuring every student has access to a comprehensive arts education. And it was unanimous in favor.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Is there any unwillingness to vote on item 1 for schools and education? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? Thank you very much. That passes. Donna, SLA 1 and 2.
SLA 1 met on Wednesday, November 5th. We had 13 applications and 3 decisions. Everything else was a layover or withdrawal. All the decisions were unanimous. First one is LB All Day LLC, doing business as See No Evil at 11 Waverly Place. This is a restaurant wine, previously unlicensed. Deny Unless, 555 Broadway location LLC, doing business as Convene at 555 Broadway on the 2nd floor, also previously unlicensed. This is an OP for a catering establishment, Deny Unless. And Sweet Hospitality Group LLC, 432-434 Lafayette Street. This is a wine, beer, and cider license for a theater and previously unlicensed, and that was Deny Unless. Items 4 through 13 are layovers or withdrawals.
Okay, so is there any items that people want to call out? Okay, is there any discussion? Any unwillingness to vote on SLA items 1 through 13? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? SLA 2.
Okay, SLA 2. Thursday, September 6th, we had 16 applications, 6 decisions. The rest were layovers or withdrawals. All the decisions were unanimous. Greed Island LLC, doing business as Cafe de Mio, also known as Bar Matsumi at 61 Van Dam. It's an on-premise for bar tavern. It was a change in method of operation to change the closing time from 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. Deny Unless. St. Sabino LLC at 107 Greenwich Avenue. This is an on-premise for a catering establishment. Deny Unless. Strikers NYC Inc. at 59 Grand Street, on-premise for a restaurant. Deny Unless. Big Nano LLC at 359 6th Avenue, on-premise for a restaurant. Deny Unless. Train Design LLC and the Third Man Management LP, doing business as Pastis at 5456 Gansevoort Street. This was an alteration to add sidewalk and roadway seating. That was Deny Unless. And Thai Smile Restaurant Inc., doing business as Two Thai Food at 3 Greenwich Avenue, store number 4. This was an alteration to add sidewalk and roadway and was Deny Unless. And items 7 to 16 were layovers or withdrawals.
Okay, so we have SLA items 1 through 6, and then 7 and 14 layover. 7 to
16 were
are
the
layovers.
layovers and withdrawals.
So 1 through 6, is there any ones people want to call out? Otherwise, we'll take them in the block. Is there any further discussion? Is there any unwillingness to vote? Seeing none, so SLA 2 items 1 through 6. All those in favor? I'm sorry? No, it is not our last vote. We have cannabis. So any unwillingness to vote on SLA items 1 through 6? So SLA 2 items 1 through 6. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? Okay, that passes. Okay. So next we have cannabis. Okay, so we'll need to pass these out.
Hello? Hello? Is it on now? All right, good. All right. Hi, everybody. It's a long one, so I will summarize for you. And it's intentionally long. So 388 West Street, we have received, I think, to date, 6 different applications or notices for this location for a cannabis dispensary. The first one, this is going back well over a year, actually. The first one I barely remember, but it withdrew pretty quickly before we even scheduled them. The second one we heard, we recommended denial, mostly because we couldn't determine who the operator actually was.
So we do the
consequent applications were all from the same, for the same license. Well, actually, that's not true. For the same brand under 2 different licenses. The first one that came to us under Flintstone, DBA Flintstone, was Justice Involved Inc., which is owned by an individual named Alexis Bronson. We did not hear that one. It was actually withdrawn by Mike Flynn, who is the owner of Flintstone. Sorry.
I'm sorry, do we have 2 resolutions or 1 resolution?
There are 2 resolutions.
Okay, so should we do the therefore be it resolves?
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to cut you short, but I just was confused as to what.
Okay, so resolution number 1, it's an application for an adult use retail dispensary at 388 West Street. Elise Pelka LLC, DBA Flintstone Cannabis Company. And therefore be it resolved, which is all the way in the back. Community Board 2, again, because we did this in October 2024, November 2024, strongly recommends denial of the adult use retail dispensary license application for Elise Pelka LLC, OCM card, DBA Flintstone Cannabis Company at 388 West Street, due to concerns about the manner in which the business will operate, the true ownership and control of the business, and the close proximity to multiple schools, and the proposed premises being within the restricted proximity of the Village Community School, and that this recommendation be deemed part of the record upon which the Office of Cannabis Management makes its recommendation to the Cannabis Control Board to grant or deny the application. In a nutshell, we can't tell who owns this dispensary. The young woman who finally emerged after an entire year, who is the licensee, knew nothing about the business, her deal, her lease, anything. Even the neighboring businesses or the schools that she was intending to operate around. There's a ton of community opposition. This has been a year-long ordeal with this particular license, so.
Can we present this, did you do both resolutions or is that just the first resolution?
That's first resolution.
Okay, so can we
Second
present the second one?
Second resolution were
The
our-
therefore be it resolves.
Okay, is that our new? Okay. Second resolution, therefore be it resolved that that all cannabis showcase event applicants seeking municipal authorization within the 5 boroughs must notify and submit materials to the appropriate community board prior to municipal sign-off, and actually state sign-off, I guess, or sign-off from the Office of Cannabis Management. Be it further resolved that the community board shall have the ability to issue an advisory opinion, including approval with conditions or denial, which must be included in the applicant's municipal authorization record. Be it further resolved that any brand or mark be treated as a single license, should say, for cannabis showcase event permits with the same limits and restrictions unless the license operates under a unique alternative temporary brand mark for the duration of the event, and that no venue, premises, or address be approved for more than one cannabis showcase event permit in a 12-month period. That is to say, these regulations cut the community board out. These event showcases, cannabis showcase events, are de facto cannabis dispensaries. Cannabis law says the community board is the appropriate body for which to give notice. So we say, yes, let's keep that with these de facto dispensaries. And the other thing is that it would also allow for monopolies or oligopolies, because very well-resourced brands that have absorbed several other licenses that they don't own will be able to grow exponentially the way these regs are written. So for instance, if a brand has 30 dispensaries operating under, say, Acme Cannabis, with these showcase events and the rules, they could operate 90 dispensaries beyond their 30 licensed premises at one time, which would drown out any independent operator. It would be unprecedented brand recognition. It would be like a McDonald's of cannabis throughout the city.
Okay, great. So is there any discussion of these items? Dr. Smith, then we'll go to Arturo. Dr. Smith, can we get Dr. Smith a microphone? And just as a reminder, we do ask all committee chairs to just do the therefore be it resolved. So if that's not clear to everyone, thank you.
How about this one?
Thank you. Can you hear me now? Yes, I hear. Thanks. For resolution number 1, the vote was 4, and you had one to abstain.
Will Benish was late, and so he abstained on the first one because he didn't have the applicant.
That was my question.
Yes.
Arturo?
Responsibly, he did.
Okay. On the second resolution, just to clarify, I'm not as familiar with cannabis law. At these pop-ups, is cannabis use allowed?
So that's the other thing. It says in the regs that cannabis use, on-site consumption is not allowed. We do not have regulations for on-site consumption, so it is not legal anywhere right now, except out in the street, wherever you can smoke cigarettes. However, the way that they're written, let's say it's in a farmer's market or on a beach or wherever, or even inside a brick and mortar space, if people purchase and step outside, or if it's on a beach or in a farmer's market, if they rope off the sales, the licensed premises, right, which could be just a table and a register, and then you've got a cannabis party going on anywhere, because also these reinstitute the same block road provision for distance to schools and houses of worship, and can happen anywhere. It does not have the same rules. So these are de facto dispensaries without the regular checks and balances that are attached to a dispensary, a permanent dispensary premises.
Great. Is there any other further discussion on cannabis licensing items 1 and 2? Is there any unwillingness to vote on cannabis licensing resolutions 1 and 2? Seeing none, all those in favor? Oh, we need to do a roll call vote. Thank you so much, Eugene. This is why you're the first vice chair.
Thanks, folks. All right, we'll start at the top. Will Benish. Yes. Keen Berger. Yes. Carter Booth. Yes. Katie Bordenaro. Yes. Anita Brandt. Yes. Amy Brenna. Yes. Rich Cacapolo. Nina Chen. Valerie De La Rosa.
Abstain.
Chris Dignas. Arturo Fernandez. Mar Fitzgerald. Susan Gammy. David Gruber. Sorry, David, I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. Juliet Kay. Susan Kent.
Yes.
Thanks, Susan.
Yes.
Got it. Ryder Kessler. Janine Kiley. Patricia Laria. Janet Liff. Benjamin Listman. Paul McDade. Brian Pape. Matthew Pereira. Donna Raftery. Lois Rakoff. Bo Riccobono. Rocio Sands. Thank you. Shirley Secunda. Eddie Siegel.
Yes.
Thank you. Frederica Siegel. Frederica, are you online? Okay. Emma Smith, I'm abstaining. Dr. Shirley Smith. Chenault Spence.
Yes.
Sean Sweeney. Susan Wittenberg. Anthony Wong. Eugene Yu. Thanks, folks.
Do we have a motion to adjourn? Or wait. Do we have any new business? Okay. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. A second? Great. Thank you, Dr. Smith, and thank you, Lois. Thank you, everyone. May we please end the meeting?